It was a missed opportunity. You obviously are proud of the guys' resilience, but do you feel that was a chance to do something a little bit more special than you did today?
I feel that I feel a double, obviously, through many emotions. There are two things in my head that, and two things that are clear for me. The first one is that obviously we are not happy, and not being happy is a wonderful sensation in this moment. It means that we competed in the highest level, and you can dare the luxury to not feel happy after you play Borussia Dortmund. That's some strange place to be. With big respect for Borussia, what I'm saying, but I think it was clear that today we pushed the level of the game to the maximum, to a highest level, and we could play an open game with such a strong opponent. It's important that people understand who is Borussia Dortmund, so that after they really can highlight the quality of game that was played today from Sundowns' part. But we are not happy, of course, despite we are proud. I'm very proud of the level of football that the players played. I'm very proud of the resilience they had throughout the game, so that we could finish the game playing for a result. Because as you saw in the overtime, extra time, in the heads of the players from Borussia Dortmund was just finish the game, and we wanted to continue to fight for the victory. But we also need to understand that when we play teams like this, they will penalize you out of one goal, 2 chances, 2 goals. That's why the level they pay and the amount of money is paid for players takes those players to another level. But I'm so proud of our players. Very hard halftime, guys. Very, very hard halftime, because there was a mix of deception, disillusion, so not relation between the result and what we had done on the pitch, but at the same time the sensation that we could be highly penalized as a result if we could not keep the game in our hands. So the energy we had to put on the locker room, I think, was decisive. The emotions we wanted to install on the players so that they could come back on the game on the second half and still feel alive, and that there was something to fight for. Because believe me, I played games like this, losing 3-1 at halftime with teams like that. I can never forget when I played Arsenal in London with Braga, and it was 25 minutes to finish, and there was 7 on the score. Hopefully, and it was wonderful, then we beat them home. But when you play these teams, those kind of things can happen if you don't grab yourself in the right way to each other, to the values that we have, to the brotherhood, to the spirit, and to the level of football you can play. And look, we finish a game with 60% of ball possession, what is sometimes a fake data. But if you think that you had a 2.6 expected goals, so the XG on the game compared to 2.1 from Borussia Dortmund, that speaks more for you. One speaks for the style, the other one speaks for the moments you created. And I know that South Africa asked for a long time that for Shushain and Piano, for beautiful football, for us to be loyal to our identity. And I think today we saw a team looking for that in the highest level. So also it's a message for South Africa to really highlight the quality of football that Mamelodi Sundowns plays. Not only destroy, because there's a lot of destruction around us, and we have always to be, and we are tough and resilient and strong and courageous. And but yeah, it was a hell of an experience for these players. I think that from this match we grew a lot. We need to obviously look forward for the competition, because also we understood that we can compete with these kind of teams. That's the expectative that we will take for the next match, that we can again compete. As you remember, when I was in the first press conference, I spoke about how we wanted to be in the World Cup. I said we want to compete. And compete is exactly what we did today, is exactly what we did with Ulsan, is show that we are on the pitch to play a game. We are not afraid. We have to respect every moment of the game, every opponent, their qualities. We know what they have, what's there on the other side, but at the same time, we should be enough brave and take us to the limit, because if we don't go really on the limit, we can't, we are not able to. But then finish games like this with the sensation that we are not happy, but with the sensation that we take things home. Because sometimes out of defeats, there's nothing you take home. And out of this defeat, you can take something, a lot, you can take a lot. You can grow, you can get confidence, you can get belief, you can get respect. I think today we got a lot of respect from the world that is looking this competition, a lot of respect. I saw and I heard, and already people came to tell me how was the opinion from people from Borussia Dortmund. I heard people asking for shirts and saying, I want to get a memory from this team. That is absolutely beautiful to see. It means that we are on the right way, absolutely on the right way. And let's keep fighting until the end.
Go here in the front.
Coach Mazwala Molefe from SABC Sport. Unfamiliar territory, obviously, for Sundowns to go, 2-3-1 down at halftime. That hardly ever happens in the local league. I'm just interested to find out what was your message to them at that point, and also just an update on Lebo. Looked like he pulled a hamstring in the last minutes or so of the match.
Regarding Lebo, I don't know exactly, but for sure he'll have to make an exam to check if he has a muscular injury. That's what we need to check. There's nothing on the knee, but eventually a muscular injury. That was what's in case. Regarding first question, sorry, the result. Yeah, it's not normal. It's not normal to be losing a game. It can happen, but such a difference is not usual. I think this season it happened to us once, yeah, that's also why I have to highlight the quality, the resilience, the head. It was not easy for people that were in the locker room on the halftime. It's not easy because you see the guys looking down. But that's exactly the danger, is when you look down, because these teams, they will not stop, because you know that also scoring goals is an important thing in this competition. So it's not Borussia Dortmund that didn't want to score more. It's us that we were capable to be in the game and earn the respect to understand how the game should be played from both teams. But yeah, we need to deeply ask for their pride. Today we spoke about one beautiful thing. I don't know if you remember South African national team of rugby. When they were world champions, the head coach, what's his name now? I'm missing. Rassi. They made a special shirt with the photos of the families to play the celebration match. And there was a player that I also now cannot remember the name. Exactly, that he had no photos of family, and he put it himself, all the photos of him on the shirt. But then the colleagues made photos of themselves and put it on his shirt, their photos. I use this as a beautiful example of the spirit that the team had to take inside the pitch. And that coach and that team is an inspiration throughout all our season, as a resilience effort and capacity they showed. And that's what I told them, Lucas, we don't take the photos of our people in the shirts, but we take them in our hearts. We take them on our minds. And that's also what you need to ask for in these moments, is that you make those people happy, you make the club happy, because you still fight. Because what speaks for you is not the results you get, is for what you fight. And I think that I also once said that in the night when you go to sleep, you sleep with yourself. And it's important that when you sleep, you don't dream. You don't sleep, or in the nights you don't sleep, you sleep. You don't sleep because of your own dreams and not because of the dreams of the others. So, and I think the boys, even if today they will not sleep well, they will be awake on their own dreams, what is absolutely fantastic.
We'll go here in the front.
Coach Lorenzi from the Ski Times. You made a triple sub in the second half. I think it was Lucas, Tebza, and Dash. I mean, at the time it was 4-1, and many would assume that you're potentially looking for the Fluminense game to keep crucial players safe? Or can you explain what thinking was in that triple substitute at that moment?
Of course, I can explain, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the game of Fluminense. It has to do with just play this game. If you think about Fluminense before finish this one, then you can stay with 8 on the score. No, the idea was absolutely try to bring things on the game that could put us on it. We knew that we had also to have capacity to still equalize at least the physicality that they have. But we also knew that we had to aggress the center backs from Borussia. So bringing extra energy in the front would allow us not only to keep the game on their half pitch, far away from our goal, where a chance could appear from any ball, but also having players that could give us any moment once in one goal situation. And Tashrik was obviously tired. He made a wonderful first half, especially. Lucas also quite well. He was feeling a little bit tired from the legs. He was feeling really the fatigue installing on him. And bringing that resilience, that new spirit, that new energy. That then again we went with when we put also Motiva was for the same purpose, and again Kutluano the same purpose. And it's beautiful to go back on this question, because I was always asked regarding believing on the players or not believing, even in a World Cup. And Kutluano is a player that didn't play for us in the national championship for some time, and now we have no problem to put him to play in a World Cup. Yeah, it's the trust that I always speak about that we have among ourselves. And look, it would be so easy for me to penalize players that made mistakes in the game. So easy. But no, as they stand for me, I stand for them until the last minute. And support is and trust are values that we have to always highlight inside the pitch.
We'll go over here one more time.
In terms of the mistake, coach, is there some word that you say to a guy like Williams, or you just brush it off? That's the way you play out of the back. Mistakes will happen.
Look, we made one season playing our style of football. We didn't make one single mistake. Today we made 2 mistakes on build-up. Do you think I have any capacity to complain on my players when they gave me so much, and because they make one mistake? No, football is a game of mistakes. I make so many mistakes when I choose players, because I have 20 that are seated on the bench, or 15, so they always think I'm making mistakes. No, I supported them highly. That's what I did at halftime. Most of my talk was to support the players and to sit on them on their side and say, look, I'm sitting on here. Yeah, so let's go together. Because it would be very easy to penalize a player like Teboho. But how can I penalize a player like Teboho that has an intentionality to do well, but because the levels of pressure, they are so more high in games like this, and the number of pressures they are submitted to are so high, that mistakes, well, can happen. No, I supported the boys. There's no other way. In this club, with me until the end, there's just support. And then training. And support and training and support and training. Otherwise, how can I build trust if when there's a mistake I don't give them trust? It's as much as you give, the most you get back. So that's how I approach the situation.
Anything else?
There's one. I'll take a third if you don't mind.
Please.
Last one, yeah.
And now to Fluminense. Can you give us some early, you're going to obviously have a few more press conferences, but give us an early indication of how confident you feel you could get a result there?
Look, I haven't, we saw the game between Fluminense and Borussia, of course, but I haven't deeply studied them. I saw Fluminense play twice in Brazil with another coach, so it's a different story, but the pattern of play from the team and the players are the same. It's a very competitive team, led by a very strong coach, with the capacity to mobilize the players for the tasks they have ahead. Coming from a continent from a country where the football in the last 10 years gave a high jump, where science is ahead of everything, and where the teams train much better than before, and where the level of the game and the intensity increased a lot in the last years. So I expect a very tough opponent, for sure. Coming from a game that I don't know, with Olsen, that I don't know what level of game they will be imposed to do, and if they will give freshness to their players. But when you have players like Cano, It's not the same player, two players. Keno, and many more on the bench. You know, we are playing against a very strong team. But again, I will appeal to ourselves, to be ourselves, to try to play the game on the ice, to be capable to understand the different moments of the game, to be aggressive, to enjoy, to have pleasure, because without those things you cannot play our football. But also at the same time be as strict as possible when we don't have the ball. If we put ourselves on that level, we can compete, and then football can happen for one side and the other. Today, football could have happened for our side. It's clear for all of us. It didn't. But also, we started the game with Ulsen, and in the first action, we could have scored. So sometimes football gives you moments. Let's hope next game it can give us the moment.
Coach, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, James.